Good evening. Welcome to News Night here on Metro Television. My name is Bridget Otu. Thank you very much for joining us. The headlines. Embattled Galamsey Queen Aisha Wan to remain in police custody or police cells for 2 more weeks after an ACCRA Circuit Court declined her bail request. Ruling NPP takes on former President Mahama over the latter's claim that the next NDC administration will repeal Article 71 of the Constitution to address issues of ex gratia. In business, Ghana's inflation rate rises again, hitting a record 33.9% for the month of August 2022. And in news from elsewhere, thousands of mourners expected to file past the mortal remains of the late Queen Elizabeth II, which has been laid in state in Westminster Hall. We have details of these stories and more. Thank you for joining us. And we're streaming on Facebook at Metro TV Ghana and at News Night. On Twitter at Metro TV GH. Our very first story tonight, and more inconsistencies are emerging in the government account of how notorious illegal miner Aisha Wan left the country in 2018, despite the government providing evidence of a repatriation notice and the Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah saying she was repatriated. The prosecutors in court on Wednesday stated that Aisha Wan sneaked out of Ghana after her arrest in 2017.
There was drama in court on Wednesday morning when the case of illegal mining suspect Aisha Wan and 3 others standing trial for mining, purchasing and selling minerals without license was called. Her rearrest has since dominated the headlines due to the lack of explanations on the part of government on what actually occurred when she was first arrested in 2017. Comments on whether or not Aisha Wan was deported has sparked outrage in the last 48 hours. Prosecutors in court said she sneaked out of the country after her arrest in 2017, contrary to claims by the Information Minister Kojo Oppong-Nkrumah and the then Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo. Prosecutor added she again sneaked back into the country in 2022, according to the facts presented by the prosecutor in court. The prosecution argued Aisha Wan and the 3 others could impede investigations after their lawyers told the court failing to grant her bail is against her fundamental human right as the case is a small case. Aisha Wan and 3 others were denied bail after the court hearing on Wednesday. She is to remain in police custody for the next 2 weeks as the ACCRA Circuit Court 9 has turned down her request for bail. An accomplice of Aisha Wan after the ruling by the court passed out. Lead counsel Nkrabia Ifadate led the charge.
As far as I'm concerned, there is no legal impediment that bars Aisha Wan from coming to Ghana because she's a human being like you and I, and she's entitled to freedom of movement. And if only she has a visa, she can enter this country.
The case has been adjourned to September 27, 2022.
And security and safety analyst Adam Bona says he expects the court to press a 3rd charge of illegal entry into the country on Aisha Wan after her deportation in 2018. Adam Bona, in an earlier interview, also commended the court for denying her bail.
Aisha Wan and 3 other Chinese nationals were denied bail by the ACCRA Circuit Court. The 4 has been remanded into police custody for another 2 weeks. Reacting to the development, security and safety analyst Adam Bona said he expects more charges against the Galamsey Queen.
I was expecting a charge as part of the 2 charges that were presented to court to include entering into Ghana illegally. So if she's entered into Ghana and she's resident in Ghana illegally, then it clearly probably shows that she cannot be granted bail. If you grant her bail, are you granting her bail to go and be at an immigration detention center? Because you have to be legally resident in Ghana. Either you are a visitor, or you have work permit, or permanent residency, or a citizen. She doesn't have any of them.
He blamed the immigration service for transferring the case to the police to investigate.
We are told in one breath that she's deported. In another breath, we are also told she was repatriated. Whichever way you look at it, she's a persona non grata in this country. So for me, I think that the Ghana Immigration Service, and I've mentioned repeatedly on your network and on other networks, they seem to be sleeping because they cannot leave this to just the police, and they cannot leave this to the other security agencies to prosecute.
Meanwhile, the deputy ranking member of Environment, Science and Technology Committee in Parliament, Dr. Hamza Adams, expressed disappointment over the level of degradation being caused to the environment, particularly by Chinese nationals, adding that the committee will from Monday visit the various illegal mining sites to ascertain the level of destruction being caused to the environment.
Unfortunately, if you look at the way and manner in which these resources are being managed, it is a very sad situation. People go to the mining areas and then mine illegally for minerals. We are not saying that they don't have right. Everybody has a right to the resources that we have in this country. However, we all have the responsibility to ensure that we regulate the way we access these resources so that it can serve as well as it can.
The new Patriotic Party has denied claims by former President Mahama that the Akufo-Addo government has denied him his benefits as a former president. And the former president accused the government of denying him some of his entitlement as a former leader of the country.
Former President Mahama has been on a talking spree on governance and the Akufo-Addo-led administration's fight against illegal mining. Mahama has, among other things, said that a next NDC administration will amend Article 71 of the 1992 Constitution to tackle ex gratia, as he also called on President Akufo-Addo to resign for allegedly losing the fight against illegal mining. He also said that he's been denied benefit as a statesman. But the governing MPP has at a press briefing said Mahama's claims are insincere and unfair. The party says it has evidence of payment made to him and his employees since he left office in the year 2021. Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications for the party.
Ladies and gentlemen, the conduct of former President John Dramani Mahama threatens our democracy, our peace, and security. So the question is that, what is former President Mahama seeking to achieve with these needless falsehoods? Could it be that he wants to pretend to become the champion of the genuine concerns of some Ghanaians to want Article 71 repealed? Evidence of this rather unholy politics of the former presidents abound. He latches on to events, genuine events and concerns that Ghanaians have and appropriate them for his political interest. Former President Mahama's denial that he is actively assessing his emolument benefits simply cannot be true and amounts to an act seeking to appropriate the sympathies of Ghanaians to advance his political interest. There is no record anywhere that the former President John Dramani Mahama has been denied his Article 71 entitlements, or is there any record that he has renounced that he didn't want to accept those benefits?
The MPP said it is focused on putting Ghana's ailing economy on track, urging Ghanaians to treat Mohammed's comment with all the contempt it deserves.
And academic activities at the ACCRA College of Education has been halted following the decision by the tutors to take the mandatory 28 days leave because calls on government to discuss allowance for their possible stay has failed. President of the Student Representative Council of the ACCRA College of Education laments the negative impact of the decision and appealed to government to, as a matter of urgency, grant the demands of CTAG so they return to the classroom.
The Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, on September 1, 2022, proceeded on a mass leave after government failed to address their concerns. The teachers in all the 46 public colleges of education are demanding full conditions of service and other compensatory packages. The president of the Student Representative Council of the ACCRA College of Education, Edward J. Jamrat, said teaching and learning have been severely affected by the decision.
There hasn't been any teaching for almost getting to 2 weeks, all because of this leave. Students, some of them have reported, others too are in the house waiting to hear good news that teachers are in the classroom before they report. I always say that the probability for students in level 400 now to complete next year is very high. And if they are to complete next year, that means 5 years. It is very bad.
Some of the trainees on campus also shared their concerns with Metro News.
The teachers' leave is really affecting studies on campus. For me personally, or for my colleagues in level 400, we are final year students, and next month we are supposed to complete school. But since the leave came in, we are a bit skeptical now. We don't know if that would actually be a reality, because probably they would say because of the leave, they will prolong our graduation dates, which is not too ideal for us because most students are already, they feel like they've been here for so long, they want to finish early and then go. And then there's the issue of learning on campus. Currently, learning is very difficult. There are some courses which are very technical. You can't read on your own. You will need tutors to be around to guide you.
The teachers should, or any stakeholders, the various stakeholders that are concerned about this issue, to speed up their process, engage the tutors so that they will get back to the classroom on time, because it is really delaying us. We are here spending money and we are not getting any academics work done.
The SRC president, while encouraging his colleagues to study on their own during this period, appealed to government to come to their aid.
My advice to the students on campus is that right now that we are anticipating our tutors will be back to the classroom, we shouldn't just relax. We should take our book seriously. We have the course outline. We can Google online and then have most of the topics on and learn it on our own. The government, the Ghana Labour Commission, all those commissions who have a say in this thing should involve themselves, and then what they want from them, they should give it to them so they can come back to the classroom.
The principal, together with some heads of department at the ACCRA College of Education, are looking forward to a favorable response from government. Reporting for Metro News, Rosemary Anyingba, Accra.
And the Ghana Airports Company Limited has backtracked its decision to interdict a staff who conducted a pre-boarding search on the National Security Minister.
A security officer at the Ghana Airport Company Limited was interdicted for conducting a pre-boarding search on the National Security Minister. In a letter dated September 8, the airport company explained that the staff Awudu Bassett's search on Albert Kandapar at the VVIP lounge at the Kumasi Airport was embarrassing. The letter, signed by the company's officer in charge of human capital and officer service, R.S. Tego, also noted that the search created a negative impression for it. Additionally, the staff will only be paid 2/3 of his salary during the period of interdiction. However, a fresh statement from the Airport Company Limited noted that after further considerations, it has rescinded its decision to interdict the staff. The company, however, says it has set up a committee of inquiry to inquire and continue with investigations on the matter.
Need to make an urgent call, but you realize you don't have credits, or your very important conversation was cut short because you ran out of airtime. Well, there's no need for all that stress, because all you have to do is go on MTN and dial *506# and you get to borrow credits on MTN Extra Time. The best part is you can also borrow data by dialing same number *506# and you can bundle data whenever you run out of credit to continue browsing as always. Your conversations don't need to end. Borrow extra time now and enjoy the things you love on your favorite network, MTN. We'll be right back. Yeah, let's go back and revisit the Aisha 1 issue, because it's still dominating headlines. And today, remember, one of the accomplices also collapsed in court. And we're going to speak to a private legal practitioner on the current, developments in the court. Good evening, and thank you very much for joining us, Justice Abdullah.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Right. First off, there have been so many inconsistencies on the president's side, and today the police says she snuck out of the country. Are you surprised by this, and what is the implications of this on the case? On the state side in prosecuting her?
Yeah, indeed, it's very disappointing that the government doesn't even appear to know exactly what happened with her deportation, repatriation, or departure from this jurisdiction. That is very disappointing and very sickening that the security apparatus are unable to even brief the president enough as to what actually happened, and the president is not in the know as to exactly what happened. Now, having said that, the implications of that on the case is quite dire, to the extent that it's indeed part of the reasons why Aisha was denied a bail, because she is indeed within the country illegally. And so automatically means that she has no right to be within the jurisdiction. She has no right to work. And all those are separate offenses in themselves. And I indeed expected that these offenses would have reflected in the charges that were leveled against her. But we do not find that. And that is a bit puzzling as to why they say to go to court without all these additional charges. 4 or 5 other charges that ought to have been part of the charges that should have been leveled against her can't be found, and it's difficult for me to understand that. However, if you take the position of the prosecution into consideration, when it was said in court that indeed Aisha sneaked in and sneaked out. Now, clearly, all these are unlawful activities, and these should have reflected, as I said earlier, in the charges that were leveled against her, and that also, even though it wasn't part of the charges, automatically would influence the judge in determining whether or not to admit her to bail, because before you can be admitted to bail, you should be legally resident in this country. You should have a proper work doing, and you should have a proper residence for yourself. And in the case of Aisha 1, none of these exist, and so automatically it will mean that it will be impossible for any judge to exercise a discretion in her favor.
Right. And so the implications of that, it reduces the weight of the case. And also, listening to her lawyer made a point that this is a very small case and they have blown it out of proportion, and that a judge looking at public opinion weighing heavily against her may be swayed, not necessarily by the facts presented to her. What do you make of this?
There exist such possibilities. Where a judge could be influenced by public opinion to take a decision that would otherwise be unfavorable to a party before him or her. However, our court system is structured, and then lawyers are trained such that our decisions are not influenced necessarily by public opinion. Our decisions are usually rather based on the law, the facts, and the evidence before the court. And every lawyer, every judge can easily decipher some of these things when they are confronted with one, or he or she is confronted with one. And so for a judge, rather to be influenced by public opinion would be a far-fetched, in the regular scheme of things. But of course, it could happen, but is limited in its scope.
Okay. And do you see this in 2 weeks' time? What do you see happening? And do you see this case really dragging?
I can foresee that because of the public interest, which has naturally taken a national toll, it is likely that we may find the prosecution being very swift in the gathering of evidence, and indeed with the prosecution of the matter in general. So I foresee a swift prosecution and indeed an earlier conclusion, unless, of course, there are powers behind the scenes that influence this.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Justice Abdullah is a private legal practitioner, and we continue with the rest of our stories. And from January 2023, all businesses in the cybersecurity space operating without a license will be shut down. This, according to the authorities, is to limit cyber attacks and safeguard clients' data.
With online fraud constituting 63% of all types of fraud and Ghana being ranked the third global user of social media, there is the need to strengthen the cyberspace. Cybersecurity Awareness Month is therefore being observed every year to educate and sensitize Ghanaians on the growing trends and dangers of cybersecurity. Speaking at the launch of the 2022 Cybersecurity Awareness Month, Acting Director General of the Cybersecurity Authority, Njibo Esiako, called for a public-private sector approach to fight cyber fraud.
The authority is being guided by the governing board and also through our work with the Joint Cybersecurity Committee to approach cybersecurity regulations from a very collaborative perspective. Again, it's key, and that highlights the theme actually for this year's event. We believe collaborative regulation holds the key to bring both the public and private sector stakeholders together towards achieving a secure and a resilient digital Ghana. As part of NASAM 2022 celebrations, which is being launched today under the theme Regulating Cybersecurity, a public-private sector collaborative approach, the authority will engage with stakeholders, including public consultations for inputs into the various regulations which are expected to take full effect starting January 2023, subject to the approval of the governing board of the Cybersecurity Authority.
Major Kotia, CEO of Ghana Boundary Commission, spoke on the role of cybersecurity in safeguarding the national security.
Cyberspace itself is very big, and there could be a lot of incidents that can take place within that space. So we need to also be very observant and be very cautious as far as our activities are concerned, including individuals, entities, and what have you. It causes two items to cause a cybercrime. You need a computer or a phone and an internet connection, and from anywhere you can be able to undertake any cybercrime that you want to do.
The National Executive Committee of the National Association of Sachet and Packaged Water Producers have announced that the price of sachet and bottled water will be increased from September 19. The association says that a 500 ml ice bottled water will sell at 2 Ghana cedis, while a medium-sized bottled water will be sold at 3 Ghana cedis. Sachet, on the other hand, will be sold at 50%. That's about 150% increment in sachet water.
So normal tomorrow, just one bag, 7 cedis. It be a 6 cedis. And to say Antonio, 50 pesos. And you better blog near the begum. And in Sony, the SSA and Tumina, so ye, Fabian Tumina, I answer yes, ye, yabi. The top blog, and a ton. I may say, me enemy and some 1 cedi. Mtebe me the India, me and some 1 cedi na me and Baobana get a 30 a magic. Look at a 40 so a magic.
Because you see, a first and I year 5, and I turn 20%. So you see, I AC in 7, or my 20, I turn 40%. And I pass your bag, me a new crane sign. Obia so be boost ya go bottle ma de aba. They say I on top.
Pure water no more to move 7 CD. And yes, you turn 40 pesos. Don't see a 2 petrol. Omu 2 petrol more. Na really first we are 2. Ti omu top to go kan mo pure water from be chisa. Maybe obi an to ba ko a. Na omu short petrol. Omu sa iska ko to fufuro. Nti omu 2 pure water no ma yesu ye betum sa pepepe di say yam splenche na nasi do ye na nye enti wo ya o ma petrol ba fom kakra ma e.
Ghana's Health Minister Kweku Agyeman has touted the healthcare system in the country as very robust on the path of making Ghana the medical tourism hub in the sub-region. His last called on health facilities and professionals to uphold the standards with a call on private health providers to augment the sector. And he was speaking at the 5th anniversary of the International Maritime Hospital at the Tema port.
The International Maritime Hospital is an ultramodern healthcare facility situated in Tema. Since its inception 5 years ago, it has provided top-notch health services to the public and especially staffs of the Tema port. It is fitted with imagery equipment such as X-ray, MRI, CT scan, dental X-rays, 3 Tesla MRI machines, among others. Speaking at a function to mark its 5th milestone, the Health Minister Kweku Agyeman touted the general performance of Ghana's health sector as robust.
Ghana has developed the Universal Health Coverage Roadmap 2020-2030, which has the vision of ensuring that all people in Ghana have timely access to high-quality health services, irrespective of ability to pay at the point of use. We can therefore not ignore the contribution of the private and quasi-government hospitals in the provision of healthcare services, especially when government is working assiduously to position the country as a medical tourism hub for the West African region and achieve our goal of universal health coverage. Government cannot do it at all. The government cannot do it all.
He commended the input of religious bodies which provide health facilities in hard-to-reach areas of the country to augment public-run facilities. Chief Executive Officer of the International Maritime Hospital is Dr. Akwesi Efriye Champong. He outlined some guiding principles worth emulating that have guided its 5-year existence.
After performing a SWOT analysis, identify consumer service as one area that needs strengthening. This led to the introduction of a weekly engagement of staff, which has been christened ACCRA Culture of Excellence. Areas that have been handled so far includes connecting with your clients, client-focused service, teamwork, organizational awareness, enabling change, learning to say thank you, accountability, self-development, and developing others, etc. I must say that this activity has yielded a positive outcome. The hospital management has also initiated a plan of making ACCRA a specialized teaching hospital. The process was initiated with the Ghana College of Surgeon and Physician.
In a quest for Ghana's health system to become a trailblazer in the sub-region, health experts are urging for such professional standards to be upheld in all facilities. Present at the event were Minister for Transport Kweku Agyeman, past and present Director Generals of the GPHA, some MPs and public officials.
A population of over 10,000 people in the Mafi-Avedo traditional area in the central Tong district of the Volta region cannot access proper health care. The only community-based health planning and services CHIPS facility is in a rented apartment where the chiefs and people are afraid may soon face eviction. They're therefore calling on government and benevolent organizations to come to their aid.
The Mafi-Avedo traditional area is made up of some 15 communities and has the largest Gari production market in the region. However, in the event of any health emergency, the Only Chips compound struggles to cater for patients because it does not meet standards. The facility is being run from a rented apartment whose tenancy agreement will soon be over. The chiefs, who say they have lands for a construction of a modern hospital facility, are therefore seeking for support.
We are facing a problem of our health facilities. So we are appealing or pleading for the government and the NGOs to assist us because this place is somebody's place. So we are pleading for the government or NGOs to assist us to give us the best facilities for the community.
Queen Mother of the area, Mama Akoli, expressed worry about the plight of women and children whenever they are faced with some serious health conditions.
A major problem is access to health care. The facility does not belong to the community, and we are worried we can't be chased out any moment. I am appealing to the NGOs and other organizations to come to our aid.
We, the community people, we are paying for that man. Okay. But we also have a child, and the child worries us. That's why the man come and take his place.
District Health Directorate of the Central Town District, David Adupe, says staff have had to manage with the facility whilst hoping for a miracle to happen.
The structures we have there are not up to the standard of being a chiefs, but we are trying to improvise. But management has decided that it will be very appropriate for the facility to see a facelift. Facelift in the sense that we need to meet the standard in terms of chiefs. My recommendation has to do with the fact that the facility actually needs to be given a different structure.
He also added that many facilities in the district equally need support.
Currently that we speak, most critical staff are not residents in the facility on the grounds that they don't have accommodation. Some of them travel far to visit the facilities on a daily basis to render service. But the point remains that in the evening, when situations are out of hand in terms of critical clients come to the facility, how do we attend to them? That is why it is most very appropriate for us to have a complete ship's structure that will take care of their accommodations.
You're live here on News Tonight on Metro Television. Next, we're bringing you business, and there's more price increments coming up.
You're welcome back to News Tonight. My name is Kenneth Jesse, and in business tonight, inflation has gone up again by 1.9% since July to hit 33.9% for August 2022. Now, according to the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kwabena Enin, housing, water, electricity, and transport fares were the key drivers for last month's inflation.
Year-on-year inflation for the month of August 2022 stood at 33.9%. This indicates a 2.2 percentage point higher rate of inflation relative to the rate that was recorded in July 2022. In July 2022, the rate of inflation stood at 31.7%, and this has gone up by 2.2 percentage points for the month of August 2022. We see an exact reversal of this on a month-on-month basis. For the first time in 2022, we've recorded the lowest month-on-month rate of inflation, which stood at 1.9%. This also compares with a 2.2 percentage point reduction relative to the rate that was recorded in July 2022. On a month-on-month basis, in July 2022, rate of inflation stood at 3.1%, and for the first time in 2022, the lowest rate has been recorded for the month of August 2022, with a month-on-month inflation at 1.9%. So literally on a year-on-year basis, we say that prices of goods and services on the average between August 2021 and August 2022 have gone up by 33.9%, and on a month-on-month basis between July 2022 and August 2022, prices of goods and services went up by 1.9%, relative to the month-on-month 3.1% that was recorded for the period June to July 2022.
Now, users of public transport will from next week pay at least 30% more following an upward adjustment in fares. Now, this was announced by the Concerned Drivers Association. So let's take you to our video wall to look at how the new prices will affect you. So, if you are paying 3 cedis, expect to pay some 3 cedis 90 pesos. If you are paying 5 Ghana cedis, expect to pay 6 cedis 50 pesos. Now, if you are paying 6 Ghana cedis for transport, expect to pay 7 cedis 80 pesos. And if you are paying 7 Ghana cedis, expect to pay 10 pesos. You are paying 8 cedis, expect to pay more. And in other business stories tonight, Minister of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Owusu Akoto, has stated that the success chopped by government's planting for food and jobs is a major contributor to mitigating Ghana's food crisis during COVID-19 and a dire food shortage situation that could have befallen Ghana because of the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis.
The minister was speaking at the opening of the Science and
Sincere apologies for our inability to bring you that video, but that's it for business. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Phil John Corte will be here with the latest in sports next.
It's 49 past 19 hours GMT here in Accra. My name is Phil John Corte, and it's time for your sports. Ex-Ghana coach David Duncan has been appointed a new head coach of Mediana Football Club in Takwa. He says that there will be no pressure on him to deliver.
We have an appreciable, good number of players, who on any day, are supposed to live up to expectation, as far as the kind of roles that they play or the positions they play are concerned. But of course, in the game of football, everybody needs a sharpening, or a honing of his ability and an improvement, so to speak. We can't be perfect without working, on our strengths, So I think the potential is there. And as long as we keep working, I want to believe that they have the potential to improve. Talking about pressure, it's inextricably intertwined, interrelated, interconnected, interwoven, so to speak. Learning from you, though. With the nature of the job we have taken upon ourselves to do. So, we live with it. We live with it on a daily basis. With or without even a competition in place, we live with the pressure. You understand what I'm saying? Because you definitely will be looking forward to coaching, and because of that, you should be expecting that you walk into it, you're going to walk into another form of dimension of pressure.
In other news, former French international Patrice Vieira has paid a courtesy call on President Akufo-Addo here in Accra, where he spoke about players when taking a decision to switch to other national teams.
I received such an overwhelming welcome, better than the one I received in Nigeria. And it's just fantastic. I am here, of course, in partner also with Cheaper, but I also, my dream now is also to change the image of Africa. That's why I've been in Senegal, I've been in Cameroon, we've been in Nigeria, and I really, through also my social media, to change, to make sure this new generation, they know they can be successful in their own country. I'm born in Dakar, I play for France. When you were young, my parents gave me the choice to choose my national team, but growing up in France, I picked France. But I understand it later. It's really important to pick your own country because it's become politic. When you win, you're a French player. When you lose, you're a Senegalese player. So let's be clear. And I just had enough to see this image of Africa about poverty. And it's so much talent. It's so much, I would say, deep creativity. And Africa is such a rich country. So that's why I am not here only with Chipper. I am just here to see my brother and come meeting people, talking with people, to make sure like when people see all my social media video and when I speak, a different image of Africa. Of course, I've got a lot of project ending the violence against children after I'm going to New York for that, talking with the boss of WHO. So that's all of that. And this is my team. And I'm really glad Chipper and I gonna try to make our best to help all those fans to participate to the World Cup in Qatar and to make sure, like I say, my dream is one African team. Maybe one day we'll win the World Cup.
Former French international Patrice Evra over there speaking at the presidency here in Accra regarding nationality switch. That's your sports. My name is Phil John Quote. Guess who's back with entertainment? It's Edouard.
My name is ACCRA College, and it's time for Showbiz News. Skit, an aspect of comedy, isn't seeing much growth in Ghana as compared to stand-up comedy. According to Ghanaian comedian Obi Amponsa, investment and content are some of the challenges the industry is faced with.
The stand-up comedy industry in Ghana is gradually growing. Names like David Oscar, now a reggae musician, Foster Romanus helped in the fight for stand-up comedy to be recognized as a serious industry. In the new era of digitalization, skits have become the order of the day, but the story of that in Ghana is different. In an interaction with Ghanaian comedian Obi Amponsa, he is worried over the lack of investment to support the industry to thrive.
A lot of the guys do everything on their own. Sincerely, everything on their own. And to rent a camera now, if you want to get a quality production, you'd have to rent the camera, you'd have to get a crew, clothing, and it takes a lot. You know the economy we are in. Yeah. So basically, these guys are trying, especially, but there are very good guys out there who, amidst all this, are doing very well. Like SDK.
Yeah.
SDK is on top of his game. SDK, Pastor with dreadlocks, Jeffrey Notte. Yeah. If you see Jeffrey's camera quality, you know he's investing in his stuff. Yeah. So that is what is lacking. Investment is the problem, and also content. The agency to put out content sometimes outweighs quality. You understand? Putting out quantity sometimes outweighs the quality and so Ghanaians sometimes get sad or depressed when they watch some of the skits. Like, where is this heading? Yeah. You understand? So, to me, before you put out these skits, it has to make sense. People who are watching it, you don't take them for granted that because they are your followers, you just feed them with anything. You understand? So, it's a growing process for them as well.
For the next story, Davido made his runway debut at New York Fashion Week 2022 to represent Puma as the global sporting brand ramps up its visibility in the U.S. ahead of its 75th anniversary. The New York Fashion Week, a semi-annual series of events held in February and September, where international fashion collections are shown to buyers, the press and the general public, held its second 2022 edition from the 9th to the 14th of September, and Puma was among the fashion brands that were highlighted. At the event, the multiple award-winning Nigerian singer, who is a brand ambassador for the global brand, graced the runway to showcase a new design of the clothing brand. Well, that's it for entertainment news. My name is Esiodua Akumia. Bridget?
Thank you very much, Esiodua Akumia. Next, we bring you a string of international stories.
The director of mines in Burkina Faso has been found guilty of manslaughter following a flooding disaster in April that killed 8 miners. Hinfre, a Canadian company Trevally, was fined $3,000 and given a suspended 24-month prison sentence. The verdict has been met with shock, with some in Burkina Faso seeing the sentence as lenient given the number of victims. Mourners have begun filing past the Queen's coffin in Westminster Hall, many of whom will queue overnight for the opportunity. The monarch is laying in state after leaving Buckingham Palace for the final time earlier today. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to walk past her coffin after the doors open to the public at 5 p.m. and will stay open for 4 full days until 6:30 a.m. on Monday, the day of her funeral. Chinese leader Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin will discuss the war in Ukraine and other international and regional topics at their meeting later this week. The two will meet in Uzbekistan at a summit that will show an alternative to the Western world, the Kremlin said. Xi Jinping is marking his first trip overseas since the start of the pandemic. He is seeking a historic third term, while Putin's relations with the West are at a rock bottom over Ukraine.
Sandra, Abdullah, Henry, Solomon, and Jennifer were part of the people that made this production possible. Good evening. My name is Bridget.